For many years, the world witnessed a miracle called BTS. From the cramped rehearsal space on the corner of Gangnam to the majestic stage of billboards and Grammys, their stories are modern fairy tales written with tears, blood, and sweat. Today, however, the fairy tale is changing. There was no more dazzling shine, only a loud sound from behind the screen that finally broke. And the voice came from the mouth of a man who had been silent all this time. Someone who has been standing behind the scenes of their success, Si-hyuk. What happened? Why is he suddenly talking? The answer was more surprising than anyone thought. I'm tired of silence. I've tried to survive. But when they started doubting my intentions, when I was branded as the mastermind of greed, I couldn't keep quiet anymore. Si-hyuk said in an exclusive interview that was never officially published. We got it from an inside source who has been working at HYB for almost a decade. Si-hyuk, or better known as Hitman Bang, is not a foreign name. He is the musical genius behind the formation of BTS, a group that was initially considered underdogs but later broke all the boundaries of the global music industry. But behind the scenes, the relationship between Si-hyuk and the members of BTS is slowly changing. Become tense, cracked. In fact, it leads to a deep abyss that has been tightly closed by sweet smiles and far-fetched media statements. Jungkook once said that I was like a second father to them. But today, he didn't even reply to my messages for months. That statement didn't just shake things up, it burns. Because if those relationships that seem like family can turn out to be cold and full of tension, what really happens? An inside source who spoke to us, who asked to remain anonymous for the safety of his career, mentioned that the conflict began as early as 2021, right after the overwhelming success of the songs Butter and Permission to Dance. Not because of creative problems, but because of money and power. Bang PD feels the members are getting too confident. They demanded more control over the music, the concept, even the direction of management. But Bang PD had other plans. He wants HYB to become a kingdom, and BTS is just one of his forces, not the king. The plan collided head-on with the wishes of RM, the leader of BTS, who has long been vocal about the group's creative autonomy. This is where the fire begins. There was a big meeting in 2022 that was never covered by the media. There, RM stood up and said, "We are not puppets. We are human beings who want to be respected. We cannot continue to be sold such a product." Si-hyuk just smiled. But everyone knows a smile is cold, deadly. The once close relationship began to fray. Jungkook, who is usually quiet, is rarely seen in the training room with Bang PD. V was even rumored to have once walked out of a meeting room by slamming the door, something that had never happened before. Si-hyuk responded to the events calmly, but in his exclusive interview to us, he finally said, "I created them. I know their power, but I also know their weaknesses. They are too quick to believe that the world will always adore them. The world of entertainment is cruel, and they don't listen to me anymore." That's not just a statement. It was a slap. A statement from a father who feels betrayed by the children he raised himself. One of HYB's internal documents leaked to us shows Si-hyuk's plans to form next BTS, a new group with almost identical marketing strategies. This plan, according to our sources, is known to BTS members and makes them feel replaceable. V felt very offended. He told his manager, "If he can easily make copies of us, then we've never really meant anything to him." That feeling turned into a silent rage that slowly ruined everything. Jin, who is known as the oldest and most patient member, has even confronted Si-hyuk directly. He asked, "Is this all about money, Hyung?" And Bang PD did not answer. He just stared blankly. In his lengthy interview, Si-hyuk mentioned that he has lost control of BTS since 2022. They have their own world now. They don't need me. But ironically, they stayed in HYB. They enjoy the results, but they hate the system that gave them those results. That's hypocritical. The statement sparked outrage among fans. ARMY, which had stood firm in support of BTS, was now divided. Some defended the members, accusing Si-hyuk of being a greedy company owner. But not a few also began to question, is it true that all this is just because of the greed of the company, or is there another side of the members that has not been seen? We have more transcripts, recordings, and documents that have never been made public before. We'll uncover how Jungkook's solo project became a huge stumbling block, how Jimin briefly disappeared from internal communications for weeks, and how RM secretly submitted a contract revision that panicked HYB. This story is more than a conflict. This is a story of love, betrayal, and fall. This is a story about how too big a dream can destroy even the most powerful family foundations, and for the first time, Si-hyuk opened all those wounds. With blood, with tears, and with courage that breaks the silence. Si-hyuk stared at the large glass window of his office as the afternoon sun crept slowly into the dusk. I am not an angel, and they are not gods. We're human. But as the world worshipped us as heavenly beings, we began to forget that we could hurt each other. He said softly in a recording of the interview that reached our editors that RM has always been described as a visionary, diplomatic, and erudite leader. But Si-hyuk has a different point of view. He's a smart kid. Too smart. And that's what makes it dangerous. According to Bang, RM began to show disagreement with management decisions since 2019. While Si-hyuk wanted BTS to continue to maintain a global pop music style, RM wanted to bring BTS back to their hip-hop roots. I disagree, Bang said. We are global. We can't go back in time just because it's convenient for personal identity. A leaked email reveals that RM rejected a draft of the title track for B's album and proposed 3 songs of his own. But none were accepted. They didn't even give me a logical reason. They just said, not the right direction. RM said in a diary entry that we managed to access from an inside source. Taeyong, or V, has always been a member who refused to be formed by the system. On camera, he appears cheerful and eccentric, but behind the scenes, he is the first to rebel frontally against the HYB system. During one of the internal creative sessions, Si-hyuk suggested that Taeyong adopt the style of classic British singers like Sam Smith and Adele for his solo project. But Taeyong's reaction surprised everyone. He stood up, threw the notepad on the floor, and said, "Why do I have to be someone else to sell? Am I not enough as myself?" Said a producer who was in the room at the time. The incident created a wound in their relationship. After the incident, Taeyong refused to participate in a global promotion for one of HYB's advertising projects in Japan. Management tried to cover it up as a schedule issue, but our sources confirmed that it was a personal boycott. No one doubts that Jungkook is a gem for BTS. Si-hyuk even admitted it honestly. He's the MVP. I pinned the most hopes on him. But precisely because of this, their relationship becomes more complicated. After Jungkook's solo debut 7 exploded, HYB wanted to immediately sign a 3-album solo contract with the full support of global marketing. But Jungkook hesitated. He said, "I want to rest. I need time to be human. But for us, time is the enemy." "We're at the top," said Si-hyuk. A major altercation ensued when HYB forced Jungkook